We're here with Greenie, and Matt has posted something. Now, this isn't about me right or him right. Let's state this clearly. We're investigating this bike because it's an anomaly. Why is it an anomaly? I'm not going to go with Matt or the AMCA idea that it couldn't have happened. I've seen too many anomalies that couldn't have happened over the years on the dealer floor. I'll give you an example. The Softail just came out in 1984. Literature's all over the place. New rear brake, new single disc front brake. This is what we're making. I'm on the floor at Barger Harley Davidson, and right in front of me are two brand new Softails with 1983 dual disc wide glides on the floor at Barger Harley Davidson. I've seen it. So don't give me this BS, as Matt calls it, that it has to be by the catalog. That's not the reality. So let's find out. This camera, hopefully, will actually get us in focus here. Now, that there is the perch on Greenie. You can clearly see here, finally, in this video, the raised embossed reinforcing here with the welded rear leg. Now, the book says that didn't happen till 44. I'm not in argument of that. Here's the question. How the hell did that rear leg get on this bike? Okay, well, we got two theories of contention here. The bike got wrecked, and they replaced, magically, the rear leg. Okay? Really? A bike this clean got wrecked, magically shows up with that rear leg. Obviously original paint, obviously never been apart. I don't buy that. Handlebars aren't bent. Magically has nickeled handlebars, no dented headlight, no evidence of wreck. No evidence of wreck. I don't buy it. I don't believe that theory. How did it get this rear leg? I don't know. Everybody else says, well, it's got to be replaced. It doesn't have to be replaced. I have no proof. Neither do you. Neither do you. What you have is a blueprint in 44 that says, now we're going to make this. Okay? Well, I know of stuff that, pre-blueprint stuff that they made and other things. Dale Waxler has a 35 UL motor, okay, with experimental stamped right in the case. It's 1935, 35EX. Show me the blueprint for that. Okay, I've had personally an experimental EX42, I think it was, case, stamped EX. You know, they made stuff ahead of the blueprints and sent it out. Maybe this is one. That makes more sense than to say this bike was wrecked and magically everything else is perfect and got replaced. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So we do have the later perch. Let's confirm here again. Okay, somehow we got this later perch here. Let's go over to the other bikes here. Let's look at the 47 over here. It's greasy, so we can't really tell on that one because I didn't clean that. But this 49 here, original paint bike, beautiful original paint bike, 49WL, has that perch. So let's go over to the other ones here. And let's look at the other perches here. This is the 40 police bike. That's the perch there. Okay, that's the bike. Let's go over our 41 here. And that's the perch there. Okay, let's go over our 38 here. And let's look at our perch here. That's a perch there on the 38. Okay, so we do have the later perch with the welded fork. Somehow mysteriously on this bike. The bike's an anomaly. All bikes have history. Okay. So I guess our third theory is that the guy went down the road and say 1945 or 46, he has his rear leg crack, and they replaced it with the modern version. Well, I guess it's possible.
But if you didn't own the bike, everything would be fine, right?
Yeah, if I didn't own the bike, it wouldn't be a bone of contention in it, I guess, but whatever. Yeah, it's possible. Unfortunately, the player who bought this bike seems to have passed on. I'm not about to take this bike apart and put on an early rear leg, which I have over there, to satisfy someone's idea of it must have come that way, until I can prove to me, not to anybody else, by investigating this motorcycle, that yeah, that's what happened. I've got to find some evidence that it came apart, and I have not been able to find that. Now, the other contention is this weird horn. Okay, so let's go with the cracked fork theory. We have a changed horn. Okay. Well, let's look at his horn real carefully. Here. We have the early bracket on top with these reverse screws. We have the early bracket on the bottom there with that piece cut off, little rubber piece. Could have been cut off with a knife, don't know. There's sharp instruments out there. But it has the same tear around the edges. I do have new old stock ones, but let's go investigate our other bikes and see what they look like. Here, we're going to come back to this little horn. So for comparison though, let's go to this beautiful 47, and we're going to look at the stock mounts up top there, and stock mount on the bottom there. Okay, let's look at our 49 over here. There's our stock little mount there, and our stock mount up there. Just to be clear, we rewired this 49 because it was toast, but the 47 over there, I haven't touched that wiring at all. It's just as I got it. But let's come over to the 40 here. We'll have a look. And there is our bottom mount there with no little rubber piece. And here's our top mount with our rubber piece up here. Okay. Right up there. Let's go over here. And we have the bottom mounts here, no rubber piece. And here's our top one there with our little rubber piece. And I don't know if that's rubber or not, I'm just calling it rubber. Now I've got new old stock ones. They don't have that fray there. That's just from age and exposure to the elements. And here's this one here. That one doesn't have fray. So somebody, who knows who, an individual, Harley Davidson, the local barber, I don't know, cut that piece. But here's a problem I was noticing. So let's investigate this further. Here's our wiring on Greenie. It's on the left side. Let's take a look at our loom. Okay, it's all wrapped up. It's all the same age stuff here. Somebody's put this electrical tape here, it probably rubbed, but this is early cloth tape, and early cloth tape over there. Now this is the early light bracket. You see, it's the early light bracket with these lights. All indications that this wiring loom has never been touched or messed with. With the wiring on this horn on the left side. Now let's take a look at the age of the other stuff. We just pulled the tanks off. Okay, here's the back. Here's the age there. Here's the age here. So I guess not only, if I'm to believe the theory that this rear fork was replaced, but they rewired the whole bike. Okay, magically put the wires on the horn on the left side, because the correct wiring for these early horns is on the right side. There's your horn right there. And here's your horn right here on the right side. So I got a little wrench in my pocket, and as promised, I'm not going to put a wrench to this bike without documenting it. So if you'll be so kind as to hold this little video cell phone camera. Okay, and this is not about I'm inventing theories about this bike to explain anything. It's an anomaly. I want to find out the truth. And the bike has its own story to tell. And if we will listen with an open mind, maybe we'll find out. So, we're going to see if these wires will stretch. I haven't tried this. I have no idea. I've not put a wrench to this here. So right now, very carefully notice that this here has the same age as the rest of the bike. So it had to have been done, if we can assume anything was done, very early in its life. Wasn't done later. But how come we have this here? Okay, and notice this clip here. Your after-war clips here are different, which I'm going to show you guys. Okay, it's got early clips. It's got early wiring. I'm going to show you. Let's see if it'll reach. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll twist over. I don't know. So again, this is not edited. We're investigating. I'm investigating right in front of everybody who watches this channel. That means all the guys who like me, all the guys who hate me, all the guys who make stupid ass fucking Saturday night videos about me. Whatever. You're all watching. I don't care. Let's find out, shall we? Let's see if these wires will stretch. I don't know. Maybe they will. Now notice the bending of the placement here. Okay? It don't reach, pal. The fucking wiring don't reach. Your theory's wrong. It don't reach. So they would have had to done this, redone it, and reclipped it. I guess that's possible. I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know. Why is this horn doing on this motorcycle with wires that don't reach? You know, you wouldn't have reclipped all this. You just pulled the wires over. Come on. You wouldn't have done that. Nobody would have done that. You just pulled the wires over. Why would you do that? Okay? But they don't reach to this side. You wouldn't have clipped that and shortened it, and you would have used later ends. These are the early ends. Let me show you some later ends, okay? Let's have a look here. Here's our ends here. They're dual. They're dual pieces. That's your 47 end. They're dual pieces. This is your early clips right here, and they don't reach. So therefore, they magically got the early clips out of the drawer and clipped and shortened the wires and put them on just like the factory, to how the factory did, just the same way, just so there. On this clip end here, don't reach. These are different clip ends. We have an enigma. Okay, why is it like that? I'm sure everybody in the world is going to have a theory. Let's go with the wreck theory. Okay, let's have a look here. at a couple other bikes. Let's bring this over this way.
Okay.
Now, here's our 40. This was in service immediately after it was bought, our 40. Get it low to the front here. Okay. This is our 40. This is the Harley Davidson light bar. This is Harley's light bar. All right. These are Harley's nuts right here. This is Harley Davidson. This is not a reproduction. It is not an aftermarket from the era. Here's another Harley light bar. I've also seen them with these nuts here. Okay? Now why some of them came with this nut and some with that, but the book shows the other nut. But I've seen plenty of them with this nut here. They're always the same nut. So I'm assuming at some point in time Harley ran out of nuts and used those nuts. We've seen Harley do that plenty of times. Never seen Harley Davidson change nuts or bolts before. That's why you got flathead nuts. That's why you got CP nuts, because they never ran out of stuff. So let's go over to this little bike over here. Well, this little 47 here, they passed a law in Michigan and had to update it with Harley Davidson turn signals. This is a 60s turn signal kit. But what we got, this is Chicago Motorcycle Supply. This is not Harley Davidson. That's what this is. So it's an era aftermarket with spotlights. Now spotlights could have been ordered. We've got order forms with spotlights on them. They could have been put on afterwards. I don't have the order blank on this bike, but anybody with order forms can attest to that. Now here's the magic. Harley Davidson would order stuff. You could order it without it being on the order blank. You either wrote a note, you wrote it on the side, you called them, you wrote a letter. It doesn't have to be on the order blank to be sold. Anybody who has had enough of this stuff knows that. I don't care if it's not in the Palmer book. The Palmer book is notorious for errors. I don't care if Chris Haynes or Matt McManus says otherwise. I know it, and a lot of the other old guys know it. Not everybody knows it, but it's a fact. So, we have a little problem here. Let's bring this around here. Let's take a look at our generator clips here. Let's see here, grab the phone so I can show what I'm trying to show. Okay, there we go, generator clip right there. We have a non-split clip, which is magically the same clip on the back of the horn that doesn't fit. Now I guess they could have shortened it and taped it, I guess. Does that really make sense to you guys? Really? You know, enlighten me here. We left all these wires out here all wrapped around. Didn't have to be that way. You know, if it had been wrecked, it would have gone with the later mounts. You know, they would have replaced all this. You know, we would have replaced the fender. It's an enigma. I don't have an answer. Okay? I wasn't there. Neither were you. So you can't state 1,000% any more than I can that this bike never was sold with this horn and was never sold with this leg. You cannot state for a fact any more than I can. Okay? We don't know. We don't know. It's an enigma. But I assure you, if it did come with this leg, and if it did come with this horn, it's not the only one. It's not the only one.
1940, for God's sake.
It's a 1940. You know, so we have enigmas. I put a video up on the date code of the Speedo. Maybe one of you date guy codes will show me some proof of the date codes. Whoops, put my finger in it. Date codes of the Speedo. All right? Oh, wow, we just figured out how to raise and lower this phone. Wow, look at that. Is that cool or what? So you learn stuff. I didn't know I could do that on this phone. That's so cool. I love this phone. So there's our Speedo with the no trip meter. You know, until I see proof beyond what everybody's giving me, I'm not going to quote unquote correct this bike. You know, I like this bike. I bought it. I stepped up and I bought it as is, where is, because I wanted this bike as is, where is. I'm still not buying the idea that somebody magically put in a set of 39 gears and shift gate and a 40 tranny. Why would you do that? Come on, man. Your theory don't work. Your theory just doesn't work. Nobody's going to do that. At a later date, when gears are all over the place, they magically put in a 39 gear set and shift gate in a 40 tranny.
That really makes sense.
Oh man, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh yeah, you're rocking it, baby. So, you know, I'm not going to change a thing. So, oh yeah, the seat issue.
Yeah.
Now this is a 40 Deluxe. There's a couple different things that the catalog says, but we have these little magic bags here with those jewels. So generally, when you order that and you can just order it, you're going to order a matching seat to your saddlebags. And they did have seats with that kind of wear pattern in the leather, whatever you want to call it, alligator, rhino, whatever, with jewels like that. They had seats like that. So that's probably what it came with. Again, we don't have the order blank. We're going by common sense. Now let's go over to our seat here. Yeah, as I pointed out, this is the seat that came off of it. You saw me put it on the shelf. Okay, we have a vented seat pan with a torn off Deluxe something or other, which is thick. Okay, so let's go look at our other Deluxe seats. Now, as far as I'm aware, these Deluxe seats here are 40 and 41. I don't think they made them in 39. They're the fringe style. Let's see how thick they are. Okay, nice and juicy. We got a brown one. We got a black one, or was black, I guess, here. And we got another brown one here. Now let's have a look underneath and see what kind of vent pattern we got. Now I've had these seats off and I juiced them up and all that, but let's find out. Okay, we've got a venting pattern here. Okay. Now, let's see here. We have a venting pattern here. Okay, we got vents there. I don't know if you can see it or not. We got vents. Let's double check here. Make sure you got it in the video. We got vents. Let's look at this one here. And let's see here. We got vents on that one there. Now, here's the thing. They came out with these seats, as far as I'm aware, in 40. You think you could have bought one in 45 or 47? Yeah, I imagine you could. And then they would have made it to that standard of that time and that day. So, I was always told that 40 was a non-vented seat. But again, that is what I was told. Don't know. We have no proof that that seat came with this bike. Maybe it did, and maybe it didn't. Don't know. We're definitely missing a Deluxe fringe here, and this bike obviously came with a buddy seat here. So the seat at some point it was replaced. That's obvious. And maybe the guy ordered it with two seats. Maybe he got it with a buddy seat and a solo seat and changed them. We've never seen anybody have a brand new bike with several seats to change. Never happened. Nobody changes seats. Yeah. Doesn't happen. Okay. I don't buy that. We know better. You know, all your guys with your late model bikes, they got several seats in your bikes. You know, you go buy a used bike the guy bought new and it's 3 or 4 years old, he's got 3 or 4 seats to go with it. So, you know, maybe he's had a couple seats. We don't know. So, that's what I've found. That's what I've discovered. I'm not going to pull that wiring off to see what kind of attachment it had or doesn't have. But I don't get it. Okay, I don't get it. Somebody was perfectly okay with loop-de-loop wires here. That was cool. And then you're going to tell me that even though I'm cool with loop-de-loop wires here, I'm going to purposely shorten the wire here when I put on this horn. Do you realize what you're saying? Do you really realize what you're saying? So you saw me, it doesn't reach, it doesn't reach. Hello, it doesn't reach. It's on the wrong side, and it doesn't reach. If they're cool with weird wires like that, thinking that's bitching, a little loop-de-loop wire there ain't gonna bother them. They're just gonna loop it around and stick it on. They're not gonna tear all this up and shorten it and reclip it. I don't buy your theory, man.
You can't see it.
Yeah. That you can't see it. It's out of the way. It's so much easier. And this wire doesn't fit for the 9-bolt horn. So, you know, if you're gonna try and sell me that, you got to tell me that this bike was mysteriously restored in 1947. There you have it. That's the answer, guys. The bike was mysteriously restored in 47. The whole fucking thing was torn down. The frame was bent and got repainted at the factory. And somehow we ended up with non-damaged nickeled handlebars in 47.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next theory. Next theory. So the bike has history to tell us. You know, this isn't me BSing and trying to invent stories. This is me going, hey, this is what I'm finding. I'm doing it right here in front of you and God and everybody. Do you understand? I'm putting myself out in front of you and God and everybody right here, right now. This is what we're finding. If you don't like it, if it don't fit to your little theory of what could have happened or this happened, I don't care. I'm going to continue sharing this little bike, and it's my bike, until I can prove 100%, not an opinion, that it couldn't have happened. Then this bike stays like this. I make myself clear to everybody. So that's that. You don't want me responding and make little videos and shut up about it already. Let me have my little adventure with my little bike, and you go about your life and I'll go about mine. I'll see you guys later.